Hello and welcome back to a new episode of Grand Tactician The Civil War, where we're playing the Confederate career mode. Last episode we got our first taste of combat when General Beauregard led us into a costly but minor defeat. Currently Johnson's men are also in combat and about to retreat, and our navy also got hit hard. This is not a good start for the rebellion, but I'm sure we can turn this around. But for this we are going to need a lot of prestige. One of the ways that we can increase our prestige is over our clothing. We still have a lot of money lying around, so let's make sure that we are going out in style. And I think this quality jacket would suit us just fine. Together with some nice trousers and also a fine grey hat. This should be everything that we can improve right now, and this is hopefully giving us an edge to advance the career ladder quicker. Only if we can take control of a division or of an army soon, we have a chance to effectively turn this around. We can see that over here the army of the Shenandoah is getting beaten up quite heavily, and over here more of the Union's forces are advancing. They completely outnumber us. And now with the disaster at Aldi and the army of the Shenandoah on the retreat, we are pretty much everything that stands between the Federal Army and our capital. There are some soldiers in the Army of Virginia, but these are only 1,000 men, and after that Richmond is open. Currently we can see that the Department of Washington is trying to embark on their ships. They are 5,000 men strong and they're going to move south. We over here in the Army of the Potomac have 15,000 soldiers available, and I'm going to wonder where this department is going to head. Maybe they're going to land here, or maybe they're going to try to reinforce this position. We have the Army of the Peninsula in the area also fortifying the area, trying to contain the Department of Virginia. Our best chances of success would be, of course, a British intervention in the conflict. But the British are not going to intervene until they see that we are able to win this conflict on our own. We can see that our forces are once more moving out. We are once more trying to engage the enemy. Maybe we have a chance this time, especially if they're not getting reinforcements from here. But we are approaching the enemy very slowly, meaning that they definitely know that we are coming. Yes, we can see that the 1st Division is moving forward and we are directly in contact with the enemy. And this time we have to face off against 30,000 soldiers, while we only have 15,000 demoralized soldiers in the area. Today is June 12, 1861. Our scouts report the enemy is near Fairfax, Virginia, and our army is to prepare for battle. We're facing the 1st Division under command of George Cadwalader with strength of some 14,000 men and 19 guns. The enemy army is green and the morale is reported to be confident. Reports indicate their supply situation is outstanding. And the supply state of our army is outstanding as well. We are about to fight a defensive battle alongside Grafton, Matthews Hill and this position close to Cushing's Farm. We are completely outnumbered, and therefore I hope that Beauregard is going to place us into a good defensive posture, otherwise that he is going to withdraw before our casualties raise too high. Currently our soldiers are positioned in the very rear of our line, so let's order the men forward so that we can link up with our soldiers. But apparently this is not wished for, as we are ordered to defend this location. Let's send our men forward so that we can get the prestige from that, and then we are going to move forward anyway. It is important that we make as much prestige as possible so that we can climb up the political ladder and secure better positions for our soldiers. We can see that the enemy army is crossing over the stone bridge in the east of our position, meaning that it is going to take quite some time until they arrive. One of the likely routes that the enemy is going to take is over here, and to then get on the Sudley Road and then try to outflank our soldiers over on this position, or to move forward over here to Matthews Hill. Therefore, I'm going to send our soldiers onto the Chin Ridge, close to Chin's farm, and from there we should have a good position to hold off the enemy as long as possible. We can see that the enemy has split their forces. A small detachment is marching towards the road that we have prepared. The rest is marching closer to the northeast, maybe trying to get over Ball's Fort or Louis Fort, or maybe even trying to get over the stone bridge over here. Our artillery and infantry is in position. Let's also get the 6th Alabama forward. 6th Louisiana can move up over here for the moment. We will find out if the enemy is going to contest us over here or if we have to redeploy. And we can see that the first parts of the Union Army are marching headlong over this road close to the enemy. And it even looks like these parts are also going to completely bypass the very lucrative position that we have prepared for them to march into. Therefore, let's reorder our soldiers so that we can maybe get onto the flank of the approaching enemy. It looks like our presence scared some of them off. They're repositioning their forces. And we have now been informed that more Union forces are arriving. It doesn't look like the Confederate army is about to engage. Our howitzers, however, have opened fire. Let's try to get these men from Alabama forward, just in case that the enemy is trying to contest us. And we are also going to get some skirmishers out to delay the enemy further. Yes, the men are automatically choosing to get into cover. And we are taking some slight artillery fire over here. The 1st US artillery is in the area, and I'm wondering if it would be wise to focus our artillery on them for the moment. Sybil's detachment is under fire, but so far the enemy is only wasting their ammunition on them. And we are now switching target. Back there, the 4th US artillery detachment is also positioned, and they're bringing up the 3rd Maryland battery. If the fire gets too tense, we will withdraw. But so far, I think it would actually be quite good for us if the enemy wastes their ammunition. Enemy soldiers are approaching. Let's get our guns around. And let's try to get our men from Alabama forward. We're now ordered to engage the enemy. Very well. And we are ordered to engage at will. The 2nd Maryland is moving up. They have over 900 soldiers, and I guess they have rifles. Over here, the 80th New York still seems to have muskets. And maybe with the help from Louisiana, we are able to drive away the 18th New York. They should still be an inexperienced unit, and if we're able to outflank them, this would be very good for us. Over here, more enemy forces are approaching. And we need to shift our guns on the 2nd Maryland. In the meantime, what can we do to stop the men from Pennsylvania to push up? Well, we can't really do much. I'm going to send the men from Alabama forward on the position of that detachment. Oh, well, not that far. Maybe this hill is going to give us a slight advantage over our range. And now we can simply only hope that we are able to drive back these soldiers. With our howitzers, we might get good flanking hits on these men from Maryland, forcing them back. And the 13th Pennsylvania is about to get into range. Our detachment is about to be driven back. Yes, they are now rear-flanked. And our battery also needs to shift. They can get those soldiers under canister fire. Over here the 18th New York is about to fall back, but the 6th Alabama is also wavering. Let's order them to fall back under fire. I hope that the 6th Louisiana is able to finish off the 18th New York, and then we should be able to wheel around. And over here the 13th Pennsylvania opened their flank for a very short while. Let's get our commander forward, just to motivate the men. Unfortunately, the men from Alabama routed. The men from New York have started to lay low, and more enemy forces are approaching. Still, I cannot see any movement from our soldiers. They are trying to build up a defensive line, but some help over here would be very opportune. Let's try to buy as much time for our soldiers as possible. Okay, over here the New Yorkers are withdrawing. Let's try to get our soldiers onto the men from Maryland. We were able to drive back these men from Pennsylvania, and over here the 16th Pennsylvania is moving up. We are apparently flanking them. And we can see that these soldiers also need to fall back. I'm going to order them to charge up to this position, because these New Yorkers, even though they're wavering, have not yet completely given up, meaning that our men would get flanked. Let's get forward once more and try to drive them away. These men are apparently trying to get the enemy into short range. This might be enough to drive them away with our mixed muskets. Over here these men from Alabama are starting to waver. And now they have started to run away, meaning that the 16th Pennsylvania is going to be uncontested and the 2nd US Cavalry is coming in. All right. Oh, well, not all right. Let's order a retreat. Send everyone to run and hope we can make it out before we are going to break down completely. Our guns have just now started to run away. They have taken 11 casualties, 12. And now the 6th Louisiana is trying to get out of there. Our commander is trying to motivate them in the retreat. And it looks like the entire Union Army is starting to push down on us. Still, we have gained a little bit of prestige from our encounter. We were able to drive back a few of their units. And we maybe were able to hold them off long enough so that Beauregard was able to assemble something of a defensive line alongside the unfinished railroad. It would at least give us some good entrenchments. And now we can see that the entire Confederate army is pushing forward. We are trying to get over Matthews Hill. I do not know what we are trying to do. Maybe we are trying to get on the enemy flank as more of their forces are pulling in. We are going to find out. Apparently we have now a minor victory at hand. And we can see that the first forces are clashing with the enemy. Skinner's detachment is in rifle range. And over here more forces are pushing up. It doesn't look like we are able to get on the enemy flank, and it doesn't matter. And it doesn't seem like we can stop the enemy from pushing over. It looks like some of our soldiers have reformed their ranks. Let's get them into the rear, so that we can try to get a better look onto the enemy. They're completely outflanking us over here. There's nothing that we can do to stop them. And it looks like if we want to engage the enemy now, we would have to fight an uphill battle, meaning that we have given the enemy some good defensive ground. It is now 18 o'clock, meaning that the day might end soon, and we are hopefully able to rejoin our battle lines before that happens. Yes, our soldiers got back. We already took 218 casualties. We have lost our artillery. But there was nothing that we could effectively do. It looks like they're building up a huge flanking force over here. And it looks like some of the enemy artillery pieces are getting hit hard by counter battery fire. Let's try to get our soldiers onto that wing. And otherwise we can only wait for this day to end. Well, the next day of fighting can begin, and one of the more reasonable approaches for the enemy would be over this road. And therefore I've deployed all soldiers into this cornfield, and this should allow us to deliver some fire onto the enemy if they approach over this way. We should also be quite protected by the fences, and yes, we are immediately thrown into action. We ordered to push forward into the Union lines to support some friendly units that are immediately in melee combat down here. We have the 3rd Washington Artillery falling back. And now we're ordered to engage at will. We have the 5th Alabama trying to push back the 81st New York. Nope, gentlemen, stay over here, get on the defense line. And it looks like we might be able to drive some of them back as they are trying to reposition. Of course, we do not have the best weapons, making it hard for us to keep up a steady pace of fire. And these men need to fire on long range. Yes, get back into cover, boys. And drive back those New Yorkers. Very good. The 81st is wavering. They have sustained 24 casualties. Otherwise, this flank of ours is already collapsing. We allegedly have a minor victory, but if I take a look onto the battlefield, this does not seem likely at all. Still, I wouldn't complain. We have the 3rd Maryland battery down here, but they have lost all of their guns. And it looks like we get support by some soldiers from Virginia trying to push forward. Down here the 1st Western Battery is also without artillery. And it looks like if we could move some of our regiments forward, we might be able to cut off some of the Union forces as they're trying to relocate over onto this position. 7th Virginia is trying to charge down this artillery detachment, meaning that our men from Louisiana need to open fire to drive them away. Let's also get these men forward. And thanks to our suppressing fire from these Alabama men, we are able to hunt down some of these artillery detachments that have lost their guns. This is officially securing our flank. And we need to be careful for this detachment. They are bringing up some actual artillery, and we cannot withstand the pressure for long. Over here our flank has collapsed, and we are soon going to pull back, but at least we were able to defeat the 80th New York. We are now officially getting outflanked, I wonder by who. And the enemy is bringing up more actual soldiers. This time it is a steps detachment, so let's try to get our men back into our better defensive line. The men from Louisiana, I want them over here. And these men from Alabama, they are going to take position over here. We can now only hope that the enemy is going to try this same foolish idea again, but it looks like they're more or less going to focus on our northeastern flank as they are pushing us heavily over in this direction. We cannot really do much to help as we do not have the numbers. The only thing that we could maybe do is abandon this entire flank and move closer to Matthews Hill, trying to give some support fire from there. Fourth US artillery detachment has brought up an artillery piece, and down here some artillery pieces are also deployed. But it looks like the men from Pennsylvania are moving forward. making it impossible for our own soldiers to move forward on those guns. But it should allow us to get onto the flank of the enemy over here. Let's get the men forward. It doesn't look like they really have something on this flank. Maybe we're able to pin down these men from Louisiana and outflank them. Come on, man, open fire. Beauregard is honoring us with his presence. Let's make our commander proud. Okay, it looks like the 13th Pennsylvania is moving up. They're pushing on our flank, but maybe we're able to deal with the 6th Pennsylvania before it comes to that. The enemy is now pushing up with more soldiers. We need to be careful to wheel the 6th Louisiana around if they have rifles. If they're holding back, this would be very good for us. 6th Pennsylvania is now pulling back. Right in time for the 16th Pennsylvania to move forward. And for us to reposition our men from Louisiana onto this angle. Come on, man, rout! Rout already! It looks like these soldiers might be able to withdraw in good fashion, but our flank is for now also holding. The men from Louisiana want to focus south again. Come on. Fall back. And over here we have the 21st Pennsylvania. They seem to be fresh, and I wonder if it would be wise to attack them. Well, let's just get the 6th Alabama Infantry into combat. Maybe these men from Pennsylvania do not have any fire in their hearts and they're going to fall back. We're also going to get the 5th Alabama forward. Our men from Louisiana are trying to hold our side, especially as the enemy is not pushing. But if artillery fire starts to hit into our sides, the men from Alabama need to withdraw. Overall, we are officially still looking at a minor victory. We have lost over 1,290 soldiers, while the enemy only suffered 990 casualties, meaning that even if we are able to be victorious, we are leaving this battle a lot worse than we have started it. Let's try to rally our soldiers. The men are still determined in their morale, but we have taken a lot of casualties. Yeah, the confidence of our soldiers is dropping, but it looks like we are able to drive back the 21st Pennsylvania. Let's hope we are able to drive them back for good, allowing us a little bit of breathing room to withdraw ourselves behind the fence line. Yeah, we need to push up to even reach the enemy, meaning that this is too far. And there we have the unit routed. Let's order our soldiers to fall back. There is nothing that we can still do here. The enemy artillery is going to tear us apart if we stay out in the open. And now it is up to the enemy to engage us again. 6th Alabama is about to break. They've taken over 155 casualties. Meaning, even if they are the bravest man on planet Earth, a couple more volleys, they are going to break. Overall, we were able to entrench on these positions. It looks like the enemy has a foothold over here with the US cavalry that is currently getting flanked and is maybe about to get squeezed out, but the 19th Virginia is also wavering. Down here, the 14th New York State Militia is battling it out with Hayes Detachment, but we have 2 more regiments on that area. And down here, the 2nd New Hampshire, together with the 2nd US Cavalry, is pushing forward. Our flank, luckily, is still holding, allowing our soldiers to breathe. And it looks like these guns are not getting protected. I want these men from Louisiana to send out a skirmishing detachment to, if possible, if somehow possible, deal with the 4th US artillery detachment without hopefully getting into rifle range for the enemy. But I see now that this might have been a mistake. I should have sent them into a different way. We can see that the 6th Pennsylvania is pushing up. They are disorganized and already wavering. It looks like they might actually be withdrawing. And yes, I need to get these men to veer further to the north, otherwise they're going to get torn apart by this artillery fire. Okay, maybe we are able to deal with the enemy guns now. They're pulling them back. And it looks like the fragmented group of the 6th Pennsylvania is trying to hold us back. We are still getting outflanked. Maybe we can get forward on Manderhall's detachment. No, focus on Manderhall's detachment. And over here the 1st US artillery is also coming up. This detachment can only delay the enemy a bit. I don't think they're actually able to destroy the guns, but at least we were able to drive this detachment further to the rear. Over here more Union forces are working through our defensive line. But we are still stuck over here. Without us, this entire flank is absolutely gone. And it looks like we still have some massive reserves over here that have not yet engaged the enemy. Okay, this detachment needs to withdraw. Some infantry is coming up. They are trying to outflank them. The 3rd New Jersey wanted to get into melee. Lucky that we were able to withdraw our soldiers in time. But it looks like we will have to withdraw our soldiers further, as they are now getting onto our sides. Or well, at least try something different and reposition these men over here. Maybe this way we are still able to hold this flank while also giving some supporting fire on our position alongside Macy's Hill. 1st New Jersey is pushing up, the 44th New York is pushing up, and over here we only have some men from South Carolina fighting. And I say that and immediately have to change our orders as men from New Jersey are trying to break our lines. I don't think the men from Alabama are going to withstand a lot more pressure. But we will never know. And here we can see a flanking maneuver from Maryland cavalrymen and our Alabama infantry running from the field. I can definitely understand it, but there's also no way in hell that we can stay on this position. But where can we go? We see that these cavalrymen are moving forward to Grafton. They're going to cut off this road. More soldiers are pushing up. They are completely outmatching us. Let's send our soldiers back here to this fence line. The majority of our soldiers are pulling up over there. And if they're unwilling to fight for the cause, why should we stay? After we have catched our breath, we might be able to do something. But so far we can only get our own men out of this position. So far we are still looking at a minor victory, potentially because we held the victory points for quite some time. But our morale is starting to waver and we have taken a lot more casualties than the enemy. We can see that the enemy has some exposed soldiers over here. If we could send our leftovers of the brigade over here, we might be able to deal with the Marine Corps and with the 1st Rhode Island. This is maybe freeing up some forces for this flank. And it is potentially making sure that our soldiers over here are not getting slaughtered. Well, not these men, but our soldiers in particular. I do not care about these men, I care about these men. We can see that the 7th Virginia is moving up, but they're already demoralized. But it looks like we might get on the rear of the Marines and from the men from Rhode Island. Well, let's find out if the 2nd Brigade can at least save the day for these soldiers. The US Marine Corps is still firing on to the 7th Virginia. Come on, men, hold out. Help is almost there. Very good. 1st Rhode Island is not the strength of our men from Louisiana, meaning that we should be able to drive them away. The Marine Corps is now shifting. And I wonder if it would be worth to shift these men as well. We should not get outflanked by that, but we should be able to outflank the Marines from multiple sides. Come on, Virginia, do not fall back. We can see that the men from Rhode Island are now wavering. The Marines also seem to be wavering for a short while. They are receiving new orders. And they are running low on ammunition. Fifth Alabama, move forward on this flank. You're going to advance, deliver a constant stream on fire onto the enemy. We need to keep these Marines flanked. This might be our only chance to make sure that we are routing those men off the field. So far they're not receiving reinforcements, even though a lot of soldiers are still in the area. And down here we are slowly losing ground to the enemy. But at least we have this small victory, and that is going to be enough for us. Marines are pulling back further. We are still on their flank, and yes, we were able to rout a regiment of US Marines. And if we're also able to rout this regiment from Rhode Island, I will say that our men have fought braver than any other brigade on this battlefield. We have already suffered 381 casualties, meaning that our forces are not going to be in good shape afterwards. Are we able to charge down these Rhode Islanders? Yes, it looks like we might get into range. Well, they passed us, unfortunately. What else do we have in the area? We have a Neptune's detachment, and the enemy is actually pulling soldiers onto this side. But we are all alone here. We have some men from the 6th Brigade, but it doesn't look like they are going to come to our aid. So let's pull back. We have the Tigers and the 3rd Brigade over here. This should at least give us some cover fire. But potentially we could also actually try to get onto the flank of these forces over here. This would really be something. If our Allied forces can hold long enough, we're going to advance up to this position, try to get on the flank of the 80th New York and of the 41st New York, and try to drive some of them back to at least deliver some killing blows to the enemy. We are not going to be able to win this battle. We have already lost 400 more soldiers than the enemy, and their army is double the size of ours. But at least we can show the people of the South that we can fight. Over here the Maryland battery is pushing up. They're getting completely outflanked. Oh well, they are on our flank, but no one is willing to fight them. The men from Massachusetts, the men from Mississippi and the men from South Carolina, even though they could deal with this battery easily, are unwilling to pursue. But over here the 2nd Rhode Island seems willing to break, and we are now on the flank of the enemy. For a short while we can hit them before our men are going to run. And you gentlemen, why are you willing to fight them on short range? This is such a stupid idea. Come on, man. Fall back. Jesus Christ, we are now getting hit in the rear. We are taking casualties. You could have simply engaged on long range. You are the unit that has the most soldiers remaining. Why are you sacrificing yourself so carelessly? And these men, I do not know where they wanted to go. Orders were pretty clear. At least the men from New York over here are running. The enemy is now shifting. Some of them are focusing on us. Some of them are focusing on the 8th South Carolina. Where is this regiment running to? I didn't give this order. Now, are you willing to come back onto the field? Come on, retreat towards this position before everything is lost. The men from Louisiana are already wavering. This could have been such a good maneuver. Well, one thing is for certain, we are definitely not shining because of our military brilliance. And we now need to get closer to the 80th New York. Our men are getting outflanked from the cavalry over on this side and from more New York State militia. And the opportunity that we had here is absolutely lost. Gentlemen, run away. There's no way in hell that we can stop this flanking attack. Come on now, at least run. You just need to get up that hill. Run! Alabama, where are you? Where do you want to go? Jesus Christ. Well, that's certainly one way to throw your life away. Come on, run away. We have lost control of our brigade. Especially these men from Alabama have disappointed me quite a bit. They had the best opportunity to get onto the enemy flank to really do some damage or to get out of the fight without taking too many, and they have decided to run headfirst into the enemy. And over here the 6th Louisiana got heavily pursued by the 2nd US Cavalry. At least these cavalrymen are now paying some of the price as they are charging into our lines and are getting rear flanked. But for our brigade, this fight is now well and truly over. And I also doubt that we can hold back against the federal pressure for much longer. An entire fresh army is moving up over at Grigsby's farm, and even more forces are still pulling onto the battlefield. Well, there are at least some stragglers. And we are now officially defeated. Unfortunately, our second battle has also ended in a minor defeat. We have lost over 2,560 of our soldiers and all of our guns. On the enemy side, they have luckily suffered over 2,000 casualties and they have lost 14 artillery pieces, but the enemy is able to recover from these losses a lot quicker than we are. And here we have some clearer reports. We were able to inflict 2,097 casualties onto the enemy, and thereof 330 are believed to be killed and 75 men are captured. But on our side we have unfortunately suffered over 2,567 casualties, with over 399 men killed and 557 men missing. And we are unfortunately once more retreating. It looks like Beauregard is willing to use any form of slight advantage that he sees in a short situation to push onto the enemy. And this has led into disaster once more. We are now moving back as we can see the enemy armies approaching. Let's hope that Beauregard is going to get our soldiers into safety and is not going to seek another battle that we are definitely going to lose. And if we are now taking a look onto the policies, we can see that the Federals now hold a slight advantage, as they field over 80,000 soldiers while we only have 36,000 men in the field. And we have also suffered 1,500 casualties more than the enemy, and so far we weren't able to win a single battle. We are in desperate need for some victories to raise our morale and to make sure that our armies are not collapsing, and maybe these victories are going to materialize in the next episode. this has to be it for now, and I hope you have enjoyed it. Until we meet again, I wish you all a great time.